Today we're heading to Miami, Florida, where internationally renowned landscape designer and author Fernando Wong takes us inside a breathtaking garden.
Now, take a moment and appreciate the wonderful oak tree, the largest of the entire property. Come on, take a look and look at that majesty of the tree.
Fernando gives us a behind-the-scenes look at Shangri-la, a stunning project where the entire outdoor space was demolished and completely rebuilt in just 8 months.
Now, we are going to be approaching one of my proudest elements of the garden, the pergolas. And because why not? You can not only have one, you can have two. We managed to work very, very hard between 7 to 9 colors to find the right one for this beautiful structure.
Working beneath a mature canopy of oaks and palms, Fernando reimagined the estate from the ground up, introducing French-inspired symmetry, sweeping porcelain pathways, and a dramatic 20 by 70-foot pool framed by custom pavilions and antique limestone fountains sourced in Paris. The result is a landscape that feels timeless, elegant, and utterly transporting.
Some of the elements that we have here is one of these beautiful fountains from authentic Provence, is early 19th century, that allow us to enjoy not only the wonderful shape, but the beautiful sounds that is very transportive when you are trying to create a classical garden.
Fernando's vision extends far beyond this Miami garden. His new book, The Young Man and the Tree, with a foreword by Martha Stewart, offers a vivid look at his most extraordinary projects in Palm Beach, Nassau, and beyond, celebrating the artistry and layered plantings that have made him one of the world's most sought-after landscape designers. So join us as Fernando gives a personal tour of Shangri-la, a garden that proves outdoor living can be every bit as inspiring and soulful as the home itself. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hey Homeworthy, I'm Fernando. Welcome to Miami. Hi, I'm Fernando Wong. I'm a landscape designer, and here we are in my garden, Shangri-la. The vision to our clients for this 1-acre property, it was to get rid of an existing kidney-shaped pool and overall tidy up the garden because it was really overgrown. Shangri-la took about a year, 6 months in the design process and about 6 months in the installation. And for that, there were periods of where we have to spend some time demo the garden, but it was very fast and very rewarding. Some of the challenges for this project, because of the large amount of oak trees, was the shade. So we incorporated some native species such as cocoa plum, and also for the higher areas, we used fishtail palms as well as calophyllum trees. I'm originally from Panama, very tropical environment, and that love for lushness came from my homeland. And I was lucky enough to be able to apply some of those principles in this beautiful garden. When people walk into this garden, I want them to feel enveloped by this lushness that never leave your side, because it's all around you and involves you and really make you feel that in a wellness spa. One of the particular spots that I favor the most is actually the pool, because you can appreciate both of the pavilions on either end of them. And as you come out of the pool, you can take a completely different view of the garden. You actually have the opportunity to appreciate the garden on both sides of the property and appreciate the larger oak trees. Welcome to our garden, Shangri-la. And the first part of the garden is start with this beautiful bird path. Please come around. And as we walk into the garden, we are going to appreciate some of those existing oak trees that were all around us, and they were the inspiration for this garden. And then as you turn around, then you are welcomed by this wonderful vista of one of the 2 pavilions that are flanking the gardens. Before this space was completely at random, there was a huge amount of mud on this area because the canopy of trees did not allow many things to grow. So the first thing to address was the drainage. So there's huge hit of gravel. We actually had the help of an engineer to coordinate all of the downspouts for the water to percolate nicely into the water table from the roof. Some of the elements of the gardens, not only the oak trees, we also inherited from the homeowner. So that beautiful bench, it came from the yard. So we are very, very huge proponent of reusing things that we have inherited. And then we added this wonderful new bear bath to the whole theme that matches perfectly some of the additional urns that are part of the garden as we are about to discover. Some of the existing oak trees, as you can see here, are seems that it was perfectly placed and purpose, but that is part of the design to incorporate it as part of the design that we put together here. Also, the oak tree that we have in the background here, it reinforced that idea of a savanna garden. Fishtails around the perimeter of the property for privacy, as well as punctuating these quadrants of the circles, and a palm called MacArthur palms, which have these beautiful canes that almost evoke a bamboo trunk. So as we moving along, we have other plants such as alocasias, monsteras, and heliconias that are part of the perimeter of the property. The best way to describe this project is just that it truly follows some of my design principles based on classical architectural design. Center axes were really important, line of sight, in order to achieve this tranquil experience. And the source of inspiration for these gardens were also not only the oak trees, but regions of the United States, such as Savannah, Georgia. I love the oaks, and we were lucky enough to have these beautiful oak trees. So I relied on that inspiration to create the gardens. Now we are transitioning to another section of the garden that unfolds this wonderful vista framed by this path on either side, allow us to focus the view into this wonderful pavilion. I spent many days trying to select the right color green to actually blend with the surrounding areas. And all of these was conceived by the green of all of the existing foliage around here. So all of that effort really paid off because you can see how the pavilion sort of like flow within the landscaping. So I use the principles of symmetry to lay out the path that you can see here, and the use of these wonderful walkways would allow us to focus the viewer of the garden to the pavilion at the very end. Some of the elements that we have here is one of these beautiful fountains from authentic Provence, is early 19th century, that allow us to enjoy not only the wonderful shape, but the beautiful sounds that is very transportive when you are trying to create a classical garden. We also help ourselves with 4 Licuala Grandes. You can see them here. And as we move around and browse through the whole space, we can actually take a look at the beautiful traveler's pond, very majestic and quite beautiful. And then at the very end of this path, we have this antique bench flanking by those original urns that the homeowner used to own. Another aspect of the design is notice the larger areas of grass. They actually are very well used because we can bring our guests from the dining room into this larger space for after drinks and really engage all areas of the garden with what happens inside the house as well. Now, we are going to be approaching one of my proudest elements of the garden, the pagodas. And because why not? You can not only have one, you can have 2. We managed to work very, very hard between 7 to 9 colors to find the right one for this beautiful structure. These beautiful pagoda have these wonderful arches, and you will never believe that this is actually done with aluminum. It looks like it was done with wood, but we actually created with aluminum. So these colors were actually so interesting because I had tried between 9 or 7 for settling for the one that you see here today. Also, at some point, perhaps, we might start winding some vines and elements in here, but for the time being, we are enjoying how beautiful the color feels, how the light gets traveled through the purlins above us, and overall, it's a wonderful spot for you to sit down and enjoy the symmetry that you can find as you go across the water and look at the exact same replica on the opposite side. So between 7 and 9 colors for the trellis, and all of those colors were inspired by the beautiful foliage around us. In this particular case, we have here the giant Alocasia borneo with a red stem. You can appreciate that. But then right behind it, we have an entire area completely covered with Alocasia macrorrhiza. I think that they work really well together. And as you have the opportunity to sit in this wonderful furniture, you're going to appreciate the beautiful trellis right across from the pool. And I think that when you pair the colors really well, like what we have achieved on this garden, you don't even need extra colors. Just the simple fact that we managed to expose every single shade of green, it makes it very exciting, very calming, and very unique. Some of the things that we have created in this garden is a large family, so there are multiple areas for gathering. So we have the lawns that we just visited a little while ago. We have a seating area underneath the trellis or in close proximity to the pool. We have the underwater ledge that would allow us to engage in conversations or have a drink when everybody's in town. But if we want something a little bit more quieter, we can go to the other end and we have the wonderful spa that actually faces the best part of the garden, the giant oak tree. This wonderful fountain we gathered also from authentic Provence is being carved in limestone. It's turned 19th century, and this beautiful glass spout that complements the piece very well together. I'm so excited to tell everybody that we have our book out, and it's been published by the House Vendôme, and the foreword was done by our friend Martha Stewart. Our book, The Young Man and the Tree, is about tropical gardens in Palm Beach, Miami, and the Bahamas. I cannot wait for you to see it. Once we got the fountain done, then we can proceed to go to the next part of the garden. And we can enjoy a dip on the spot if the weather is convenient for you. And then we can appreciate the wonderful and the largest of the entire property. Come on, take a look and look at that majesty of the tree. In our design, we worked very hard to lay out the path and make it all very cohesive. But the main character on this particular area of the garden is that massive oak tree. Look at it. Look at the branches. Look at the restoration fern growing all along the branches of the tree, and has become one of the favorite spots for not only the family but also for the pets. And they used to have a swing here, but I think that we are actually seeing firsthand how the homeowner just find new ways to use the space and really appreciate what we have worked together in creating for them. I want you to also notice the use of these hedges. The one that I'm touching here is called green cocoa plum, green tips. Actually, it's a beautiful chartreuse color, and in combination with the green island ficus at the bottom of this planting bed, it allows for everything kind of breathe and find some room for them to grow. And then it picks up the colors on the restoration ferns. When we started the project, we needed to accommodate a large gathering group, and I immediately decided to do it in the close proximity to the living room in this beautiful 10 space adjacent to the living room, and the kitchen felt like the right spot. Our client is an avid entertainer, and she was so kind to put together a table set for Thomas Few in these beautiful dishes in blue and these wonderful napkins and napkin holders. I cannot wait to be sitting in the most privileged spot in the entire yard, because you have this wonderful dinner and you can appreciate and listen to the sound of the water and look at the entire garden. The space in which we are right now have an awning above us and a lining with the stripes. This is something that we work very hard at it. Also, if you notice in some of the columns, we have screens that sometimes when it gets a little buggy, we can roll down these screens, and then we will be perfectly comfortable on this part of the yard as well as everybody else. I want you to point out that also the colors of the furniture, it was all selected based on our color scheme. I think that they actually blend the utility aspects of a piece of furniture as well as the color scheme that is being used throughout the yard. The cover area that we are right now is being draped by this wonderful fabric with stripes in a taupey color as well. And we help ourselves with the furniture collection of our friend Celery Kimmel, which is what is furnished the entire area. A live from Portugal, brought to you by the homeowner, wonderful piece. And then we just can enjoy cocktail hours, and then we just can enjoy dinner right after. So we also have those pickup chairs. We actually find them in Circa, who is in West Palm Beach, to complement the look that we have with the help of the Celery Kimmel furniture. So that's how we put it all together. And also, not only the frames are for Celery Kimmel, but also the fabrics are performance fabric from Perennial Fabrics. When we created this space, it was just natural to me, by all of the different experience that I have, that I will have a cover loggia that in this case is draped with this beautiful tan effect and a taupey and beige color. And the use of not only the Celery Kimmel furniture with performance fabric for perennials, but also the accessories. I think the accessories just evoke the idea that we are on an interior space, but in fact, you can see that we all are outside. I think it's a great, very gracious way to come from the inside into the outside and then explore more areas of the garden. One of the more successful collaborations was with a homeowner, because they have a great sense of style. And I think that the process was really, really fun, and that allowed us to come together and create this wonderful space that we are standing today. If I were to describe Shangri-La, I will describe it in 3 words: serene, lush, and tranquil. The part of Shangri-La that I'm the most proud of is actually the pavilions. As I sit in one of them, I can look across the yard and appreciate a beautiful fountain surrounded by liquala palms. And then over all of these wonderful lush garden, I can see the silhouette of the oak trees and how the canopy envelops the entire garden. Gardens for me is a place for you to re-energize yourself. You need, or you want them to be somehow very nurturing. And for me, that means being private, secluded, and lush, because this is a family home. So I want them to have wonderful times in this house. Thank you for coming to see one of my gardens. Until next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.